One of the best feelings in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is when your old deck gets new support. You finally get the opportunity to play your favorite cards again, but sometimes it comes at a price. In order to keep up with the current game, some gimmicks or design choices must be tweaked or altered for the deck to play at the current tempo. So it may be the same deck in name, but not necessarily in nature. But I do think Konami tries to retain the spirit of the original cards in a lot of these cases, and I think one of the best examples is the Allure Queen deck. This is an archetype that uses the LV gimmick, so a lot of changes were necessary to make it modern, but Konami managed to do so. And in today's video, we're going to find out just how good the Allure Queen deck is and how well Konami kept its identity. But before we get into it, I have two important things to mention. One, this video would not be possible without your input. If you have an idea for a video you'd like to see on the channel, consider sharing it through the Google form linked in the description and comment section. And two, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. The Allure Queen archetype debuted in 2006's Cyberdark Impact, which has a reputation for being a bad set, which I don't think is completely true. Obviously the cover card and archetype are horrible, and it maybe didn't have the impact the name would suggest, but the set did release some decent cards. Snipe Hunter was a solid removal tool and is good in sealed and draft formats. Instant Fusion is extremely powerful, still being limited to this day, and for some reason the set did also include the 6 barrier statues, as well as Vanity's Fiend and Vanity's Ruler. Just an array of floodgates, but we're here to talk about the Allure Queens in the 4 cards they received in this set. They follow the usual LV pattern of upgrading during your standby phase, but they have an extra condition. They must be equipped with a monster that was equipped by their own effect. To provide more clarity, we'll start with the effect of Allure Queen level 3. Once per turn, you can target one level 3 Allure monster your opponent controls. Equip that target to this card as an equip spell, max 1. If this card would be destroyed by battle, destroy the equipped monster instead. During your standby phase, you can send this card equipped with a monster by this card's effect to the graveyard, special summon one Allure Queen level 5 from your hand or deck. In a similar vein, level 5 can only target and equip level 5 or lower monsters, but level 7 can target and equip any monster, which is very powerful. But in the case of 5 and 7, they only get the equip effects if they're summoned by the effect of the previous level, and that is a significant detail for later. The other card that came out alongside the Allure Queens was the Queen's Bodyguards, which prevents your Allure Queen monsters from being targeted by opponents' attacks. Not really anything to write home about, but it was relevant as the monsters are pretty small, with level 7 only having 1500 attack points. So you can see what the archetype is about, but with the modern lens, there are two main issues. One, the tempo is too slow. This is generally a problem with the LV mechanic as a whole, which I also covered in my Armed Dragon video, but waiting till your next standby phase isn't ideal, and in addition with these cards you need to equip the opponent's monster. And the second issue is smaller, but because 3 and 5 have to target monsters with the level, they're useless against things like Xyz and Link monsters. But we can kind of ignore this as 7 can target any monster. But the tempo issue was addressed with the newer cards. It only took 2 decades, but Rage of the Abyss in 2024 and Maze the Master in 2025 marked the revival of the Allure Queen archetype. And the first card we'll discuss is Chaotic Allure Queen. Its effect reads: you can discard one other light or dark monster, special summon this card from your hand. You can target one monster in either graveyard, equip it to this card as an equip spell, and if you do, this card's name becomes the equipped monster's name until the end phase. Then, if you equip a light or dark monster by this card's effect, you can special summon one dark Allure Queen monster from your deck or graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. It can summon itself, equip whatever you discarded, or snipe a card from your opponent's grave, and then summon an Allure Queen monster from the deck. If you go for 5 or 7, they won't have the equip effects, but just getting another body on board is really good, and if you choose to summon a level 7, you can make rank 7 plays. Or if you summon 3, you can make Chaos Angel, and since you used a light and dark monster, your synchro monsters will be unaffected by your opponent's monster effects, and all your monsters will have battle protection. This was the only card that came out in Rage of the Abyss, with the remaining 3 coming out in Maze the Master, but they still synergize with each other. Allure Dance is a continuous spell, and when it's activated, it can add Allure Palace from your deck to your hand. It also allows Allure Queen monsters to gain attack equal to the attack of the monsters equipped by their own effects. And finally, it can send another spell or trap you control to the graveyard to summon as many Allure Queens with different names from your graveyard as possible, effectively an in-archetype soul charge. And the card it searches in Allure Palace is pretty strong as well. Spellcaster monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. You can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add to your hand, or special summon to your opponent's field one Allure Queen monster from your deck. You can only use this effect thrice per turn. Allure Queen effect monsters you control gain this effect. You can send this card equipped with cards by its own effect to the graveyard, special summon one Spellcaster monster with 1500 or less attack from your hand or deck. In regards to this archetype, this card is perfect. It can search up to 3 times a turn, but arguably more importantly, it can put a monster on your opponent's board for you to take going first, and the final effect is the icing on the cake, as it gives the Allure Queens this effect. So the monster you level up into will be able to use its equip effect. And interestingly, it just has Spellcaster with 1500 or less attack, which actually opens up some interesting plays with cards like Magistus Flame Zoroa, Morgana Witch of the Eyes, and Guiding Quem the Virtuous. The only issue is that you can only equip if they were summoned by the effect of the previous level. You can jump to 3 to 7 with the field spell, but you won't get the equip effect of 7. So you have to go 3 to 5 to 7, and this route does cost you 2 discards, but it does keep the level gimmick intact, which is pretty cool. And the final new card is the Link 3 monster, Golden Allure Queen. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon one Allure Queen monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and if you do, this card gains 1500 attack until the end of the next turn. You can activate the effects of monsters with Allure Queen in their original name that equip monsters to themselves as quick effects. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can destroy one card on the field. Also, Allure Queen monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects this turn. Once again, another great card, summons from the deck, makes your equip effect spell speed 2, and can pop opponent's cards. 3 spellcasters is a bit of a steep price, but it can be mitigated with Palace's effect to revive. Just based off the description, you can tell how these cards bounce off each other, but here's a 2-card combo with level 3 and Allure Dance. Activate Dance, searching for Palace, activate Palace, summon 3, use Palace and the discard to summon 3 to the opponent's field, use 3 to equip, use 3's effect which it gains from Palace to summon 5, use Palace and a discard to summon 5 to the opponent's field, use 5 to equip, use 5's effect which it gains from Palace to summon 7, use Palace and a discard to summon 7 or Chaotic Allure Queen to your opponent's field, use 7 to equip, use Dance sending the equip to summon 3, 5, and 7, use 3, 5 and the 7 you summon from the grave to make Golden Allure Queen, and Golden Allure Queen can summon a 3. So definitely a great job of retaining the level up mechanic, but at the cost of 3 discards, a pretty underwhelming field. Overall, I don't think Allure Queen as an archetype is very good, but the deck does have some interesting synergies, and it's in a really good spot for support down the line. They have a level 5, so you can incorporate some canine cards. There is some synergy with generic spellcasters, as Palace can summon a spellcaster with 1500 or less attack from your deck, and if you can get Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden in the grave and equip it to Chaotic Allure Queen, you can bridge into Magistus, which could allow you to fusion summon, make rank 4s, or really anything. And if you go Allure Dance into Chaotic Allure Queen, and then use its effect to summon level 7, you can make Dark Magician of Destruction, which can search for Magician Souls to get more bodies on board, or if you're a gooner like me, you can search for Gaze of Timaeus and summon Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. And once we get Magnificent Monsters, this could potentially be even crazier. And you can Buster Lock too, but I didn't figure out how to do that effectively. But going back to the combo we did earlier, activate Dance, searching for Palace, activate Palace, summon 3, use Palace and a discard to summon 3 to the opponent's field, use 3 to equip, use 3's effect which it gains from Palace to summon 5, use Palace and a discard to summon 5 to the opponent's field, use 5 to equip, use 5's effect which it gains from Palace to summon 7, use Palace and a discard to summon 7 or Chaotic Allure Queen to your opponent's field, use 7 to equip, use Dance sending the equip to summon 3, 5, and 7. You can use 3 to make Artemis, use Artemis 5 and Chaotic for Golden Allure Queen, Golden summon Chaotic Allure Queen from grave, Chaotic equip Artemis and summon 7, Artemis search Spoon, Spoon search Crowley, Crowley effect to summon itself, Crowley effect fusing itself and Chaotic for Baberon, Baberon search Gamma summon, use the 7 summoned off of Chaotic Allure Queen to make Demod, Demod search Gaze, link Demod and Baberon into IP. Then on your opponent's turn, IP can go into SP, Gaze can make Dragoon, although you won't have a card in your hand, so maybe Magic Dragon, and Gamma Summon can make Kalika. Obviously a ridiculous YouTube EDO Pro combo, and your opponent will definitely have interaction, but the deck can bridge into so many different things, and that's just with the support that already exists. But in regards to future support, I have 2 ideas. You could go down the Armed Dragon route and remake 3, 5, and 7, but of course adding some effects to each card. They could search when being sent to the graveyard for the effect of an Allure Queen card, similar to the Armed Dragon Thunders, and I think this would be the best direction, as you have to discard for Palace, and this would help you regain some advantage. Or if you wanted Palace to be more central to the strategy, the monsters could have effects while they're equipped, so you don't need to actually rely on taking cards from your opponent at any point. But I think the biggest advantage of retraining them would be removing the equip limit. The cards would be a lot better if you could take something every turn or multiple times in a turn. And the other idea I thought of is reverse leveling or leveling down your opponent's cards. 3 and 5 can only take stuff with an equal or lower level, but if the deck had cards that lower the levels of your opponent's monsters, they could take anything. Level modulating does stray into the frustrating to play against category and floodgate territory, but I think it could be pretty interesting. And in this scenario, you can still play the original cards, and that creates the opportunity for the newer cards to have even crazier effects. I'd almost compare it to the Crystal Beast spells and traps. These spells and traps are insane, but the only reason they can be designed that way is because the 7 originals aren't very good outside of Sapphire Pegasus. But I want to hear your opinions as well. What do you think about the Allure Queen archetype? What would you give it for support in the future? And how would you modernize the LV strategy? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.